Happy Monday, everyone, and a massive welcome to all our subscribers, first-time viewers, and LinkedIn members to episode number 2 with the founders of Cypago, Arik Solomon and Yahav Perry for 2024, the year of GRC. In this episode, we're going to build on the insightful trends they delivered in part 1, Beyond Boundaries. If you haven't seen it, link for that is in the description below. And today, Arik and Yahav are going to provide some practical examples on how this can be achieved. And if we're really lucky, we might even get a quick glimpse at the Cypago platform. But before we bring them on, and for those new to the channel, I'm your host, Simon Linstead, and by sharing stories and best practices over the last few months, it's led to over 152,000 views here on YouTube by you, our amazing 8,239 subscribers. So a huge thank you for your engagement. And if you'd like to support the wider InfoSec Live community, or indeed buy me a cheeky decaf coffee, we do have a way you can show your appreciation right here on our YouTube channel with 3 tiers of membership, allowing you to show your support in any way that you can. But whether you join or not, being here and engaging with our content is what really matters. So if you enjoy our content, please hit that thumbs up button. And if you're watching this live, please do drop any questions in the chat. You'll be pleased to know it's time for the show. Let's bring the gents on. Hey, Arik.
Hey, Simon.
Here he is.
Hey.
I didn't think the button was going to work for a moment there. Great to see you both again.
It's great to be here today.
And you were bragging earlier. We're here with like gale force winds and an icy cold snap last week, and you were telling me how beautiful it is on the beach at the moment where you are. So thank you for that.
We are in short sleeves today.
Yeah. It's very, very lucky. I'm all hoodied up. But look, thank you again for coming back. We had some amazing feedback on the first show. Let's do a quick recap on what we talked about there. So you discussed the importance of visibility, efficiency, and enforcement to cyber GRC, and the key role that advanced automation has in enabling that. And today, correct me if I'm wrong, you want to bring that statement a bit more back down to earth and provide some practical examples on how this can be achieved. And if we are really lucky, we might get a quick glimpse of your platform as well. Arik, over to you.
Great, thank you, Simon. And again, it's a pleasure to be here today. I feel like Men in Black, the Avengers.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think I've got the fitness left to do any of those kind of activities anymore.
But we hope that the audience will remember something after this session.
Yeah, and not just the Avengers comment.
Men in Black, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a great opportunity to go, one level deeper. And see kind of under the hood or in details what cyber GRC is all about. And it's always a great opportunity for me to go and explain and describe what is cyber GRC and why it's so important for every mature company out there. However, with your permission, I would like to pull up a couple of slides. It will help us go through the discussion in a more organized fashion.
We love a bit of structure on here, Arik. Yeah, please, if you bring them up your end, I shall share them on the screen.
It will take me just a second.
There we go. Right. Here we go. Okay. Amazing. Yeah. So do you want to just, no, you please go. You want to give a bit of background first before we dig in?
Yeah, so exactly. I think we will, hopefully we'll have some time later today to see how these words or these concepts translate into actions. But I think that first thing first, we talk about cyber GRC automation, and I would like to kind of unpack this term very quickly. I think that it will make sense for everyone here today in the audience. So cyber, we all know, I mean, cybersecurity has been around for what, 20 years now. GRC is also a very known term and a package of processes, initiatives, and activities. And automation is somewhat relatively a new trend. But when you put all these three together, and that's a concept that we mentioned in the last episode, you create this triangle that together these three aspects bring to life a new capability or a new dimension that, again, organizations out there are now leveraging to some extent, but this will increase and become a lot more significant as the year unfolds. And when you put cyber GRC and automation together, what happens is that you take all these manual processes that everybody knows and everybody has been running for, again, years now, and you turn them into automated ones. And that's not just a simple transition. It opens up full manifest of options and capabilities and opportunities for organizations by becoming a lot more efficient, by gaining the visibility that they need, and ultimately by enabling a far more streamlined enforcement of whatever policies and procedures and processes they have in place. So this is in essence the idea behind what cyber GRC automation is. Again, easier said than done. As every other concept, you need to find the right way to make it concrete, make it real, make it actionable. I hope that we'll have the chance to share with the audience some examples of how this can be achieved.
Brilliant. Thank you, Arik. And I think you've covered off a few of the pain points there already. But what are the main pain points that cyber GRC is trying to solve?
Yeah, so I think that we can attack this question from multiple angles. But I think the most interesting one is the one that discusses the amazingly growing, fast-growing complexity that we see all around us in terms of data, in terms of attack surfaces, and in terms of overall complexity. When we look at the data that we all store in so many different places, so many different areas, siloed areas of data that not necessarily can interact with each other. So when a question is being asked on how well are we doing, or what is the status for this or that, it's super difficult to create or to take different pieces of data, correlate them together, and see the full picture. But that's only one aspect of the complexity that we see all around us. From, as we already mentioned, from the process perspective, running manual processes, I mean, that's great. Most of the organizations that still run manual processes, I'm sure that they trust them. They know exactly what to expect. They know what the inputs are, what the outputs are. They also know that it will take a lot of time. It will involve a lot of pain, a lot of friction, but they trust it, and that's one of the major painful areas, because they know that they have the ability to improve these processes, but it takes a lot of time. So they are waiting for the right opportunity, and that's a second component there. Multi-cloud, as stated here in the slide, is again just a title, but we know what it means. It means that when you are doing that transition to the cloud, you're trying to avoid having all the eggs on the same basket. So you're running GCP and Azure and AWS, and each of these platforms has its own services, its own capabilities, its own limitations, and that immediately multiplies the complexity level. All that together brings about or creates what we can define as a surface of different types of friction and painful types of activities that create an impact. And that's I think that's the interesting part when it comes to the questions that businesses ask and should ask themselves. So now what we do.
So I agree with all of that, but especially from a business point of view, why should they care about it, and why should everyone else?
So talking about pain points, nobody likes to live with the pain or to experience friction. We've been talking with, I don't know, hundreds, maybe even more, of GRC leaders and security leaders all around. And the one thing that they all say and repeat is the fact that they found themselves as the people that nobody likes to talk to within the organization, because whenever you talk to them, they need something out of you. They need something from you. They need you to provide a list of users. They need you to provide the configuration. They need you to answer some questions, to support some local initiative, whatever it is. And they do so rightfully, because there are so many things that need to be carried out under the umbrella of running cyber GRC processes. But altogether, when you don't do that, there are some significant impacts to the organization. I think that one, and again, keeping in mind that we're talking about a landscape of mostly manual processes with, again, data spread all over. And when you have so many types of data in so many different places, and you don't have the visibility that you need, ultimately and inevitably, you will experience cyber risks. You will have gaps in your security controls that you don't even know about. And as you know, as the saying goes, the worst thing that can happen to you are the unknown unknowns.
You can't protect what you don't know, right?
Exactly. So what we know is a gap is something that we can now create a plan around to mitigate. Maybe we'll learn to we'll have the risk appetite in order to handle this specific risk. But we know that it exists. The ones that we don't know exist, this one impose a significant risk on the organization, or that's the number one impact. The second important impact that many organizations experience, they don't always understand that this is what they are experiencing on almost a daily basis, is the fact that whatever they know that happens pertains to only a specific point in time.
Yeah.
So again, as a security organization, and as an organization as a whole, you want to know what's going on. You want to know if you are well protected. You want to know if all the shiny security tools that you have purchased last year are in place and are delivering. So organization can do that. They can go. They can pull configuration data. They can copy that to a spreadsheet, run their analysis processes, and come out with an answer. The only problem with that is that this process in a mid-sized organization will take anywhere between a week to a month.
Yeah.
So by the time they get an answer, it's already a month old. So it's not only an old question, an irrelevant answer, sorry. It's also something that provides you on visibility to a day in the life of your organization, as opposed to an ongoing visibility that everybody needs. Because
just to go off track a little bit, because I love to do that. I worked with governance, oversight, and control functions in financial services for about 12 years, and we had to do 6 monthly returns to the regulator, which was input onto their online system. Do you see not just the cybersecurity industry, but all industries moving forward to real-time snapshots like this?
Well, real-time snapshot is a contradiction in terms.
It is. Yeah, it is. I realized that as soon as I'd said it. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up.
Simon, I think it's like a video with a sequence of pictures, right? So
philosophically, it's right.
live
It's
monitoring is a kind of constantly taking snapshots.
It's like quantum theory, the difference between a wave and particles. But going back
now you're talking my language. Yeah, let's not talk about that today.
Anyway, going back to our subject, to your question, I think that the answer is yes. I mean, wherever you need to provide a report and to be able to understand what is your status, you have to have the ability to get that on an ongoing basis. Otherwise, it's almost irrelevant. Because businesses is a dynamic animal.
Yeah.
Everything changes from one day to another. People come and go, configuration changes, new vendors on board, other leave. It's nothing that you can assume that what happened last quarter happens today.
Absolutely.
So anyway, going back to what I described as the major impact to any organization when experiencing the friction and the pain points that we described earlier. So other than unknown unknowns, the increased cyber risk, and the fact that they get only point in time and delayed data, the last impact, and probably the most significant one, is the risk to the board or to the executive management, and even worse than that, to customer trust.
Yeah.
Because if you as an organization don't know what's going on, and you can't report on that, you can't take the measures that you need in order to mitigate whatever risk you have, and then ultimately you will suffer something, some kind of a deficiency, and that will automatically translate into risk to your managing team, and of course to your customer trust. And to me, that's the number one impact that organization has to do their best to avoid.
Okay, thank you very much. And we've talked about the problems, we've talked about the impacts to businesses. I'm hoping that you might be able to tell me how we can solve this pain, Arik.
Yeah, so this is the reason that we wake up in the morning, Yav and myself and the rest of the team, and that's a very good opportunity to mention that we have the privilege of working with a group of amazing people, all experts in their respective areas, both in Tel Aviv and in the US. So for us, it's an experience. And the reason that we do that is that we believe, and luckily for us and for our customers, we already see it in real life, that we can actually move the needle. We can provide the means, the tools, the platform that can help organizations to take one step forward and start moving things to the right direction. And when I say that, I mean what we call CGA, Cyber GRC Automation. And that's a truly revolutionizing approach to how organization can go and conduct their cyber GRC processes. I already mentioned some of these topics here, and that's, unsurprisingly, because these are the things that we repeatedly, that we keep on repeating, because these are the three main pillars that are most important, again, for every organization out there. The ability to have visibility and ongoing control status visibility. You want to know what are your potential risks. You want to get the insights to these risks, to really understand what's lurking in the dark, or more rightfully is to shed a light on these dark areas. You want to have the ability to have this kind of visibility across your tech stack, across your infrastructure, whether it's in the cloud, SaaS tools, or on premises. And you have this ability across your organization. Cybersecurity or attack surfaces are everywhere, and it doesn't really matter if you have a business unit on the East Coast, the West Coast, or the UK, or you have multiple product lines. Each of these products exposes or incurs different types of let's say, defense mechanisms. All that has to be put together under the umbrella of visibility, ongoing visibility. So that's the first and most important pillar. And again, if I will leave some time for Yahav, maybe he will be kind enough to actually prove that what I'm saying can be implemented. So that's the first part, the first component. The second pillar there, the ability to run these processes. Again, we mentioned manual processes. We want to automate them. We want to move on from inefficient to efficient.
Yeah.
We want to gain the efficiency that we have to gain because we grow, we want to scale, we are serving more and more customers. Again, data explodes. Manual processes cannot withstand what we need. They cannot deliver. So we
They
need
can't. And
to.
I think with manual processes as well, looking back to when I used to submit regulatory returns, you get mistakes through manual processes as well sometimes. And the other thing is the amount of time it takes you to do it, the amount of time you can save through automation. I mean, it used to take us 3 whole weeks to put together the information for our regulatory return. And I'm sure it's no different for people doing frameworks in this industry either.
Exactly. So when you put together human activities, human errors, and timelines hard timelines that you need to live up to, the result is again almost obvious.
Yeah.
But again, this is why we believe that the second pillar has to be leveraging automation to the full extent, and that has to be in what we call intelligent automation. Doing the collection or collecting different pieces of data, again, from all across your tech stack, putting them together, correlating them in a highly advanced fashion, running an analysis on an ongoing basis, and providing the user with a bottom line.
Yeah.
Telling the user or letting the user get the ability to understand exactly what's wrong if something is wrong, and to go drill down to the record level, and truly understand what needs to be fixed. We do that based on advanced mechanisms and technologies, including what everybody else are saying, and we have to say it again as well. Sorry, generative AI. We have to say it at least once. That's for the SEO purposes. But seriously, this is an extremely important capability that we have all been introduced to. A year ago? Not more than that. Maybe 2 years ago. We were one of the first vendors in this space to take what Gen AI can offer and put it at the fingertips of every GRC expert in a very, very easy manner, and a way that truly streamlines their day-to-day activities.
Amazing.
That's the second pillar around automation and the ability to move on from inefficient processes to efficient ones. The last component there, which lies and ties back to visibility and efficiency and automation, is enforcement. As everybody knows, or as every organization has, multiple policies, multiple procedures, internal and external ones. These can be dictated by a regulator or something that the organization, the company, has decided to create. In most cases, it's a Word document or a PDF that lies somewhere in the company's website or internal website, and nobody knows about it. And what's even worse than that is that when things change, when you have a simple example, when you have a password policy that says exactly how passwords should look like, but the IT team, for multiple reasons, change the configuration, and now it's not aligned with your policy, this is something that you should know about.
Yeah.
In 9 out of 10 cases, nobody will know about it. They will only find it out when something bad will happen or when the auditor will come in, which in many cases it's the same.
Is also when something bad happens.
Exactly. So you want to get the ability to really understand what policies you have in place, and once you identify a gap, you want to have the ability to very seamlessly collaborate with all the different stakeholders in the organization. Now, we're talking about mature organization. We're not talking about early stage 20 people companies. So when you have already thousands and tens of thousands of employees, um, you will have stakeholders all around. And one simple process will involve 3 to 5 different people, and something that ideally you would want to deliver in 10 or in a couple of days will take you 2 or 3 weeks to achieve. So this is another aspect of our approach of what we call CGA, that we believe that can truly improve the lives of every organization out there.
Amazing. Thank you, Arik. And I suppose that the question I should ask, really, you've mentioned the word generative AI because you had to. But what is unique about your platform? What's the differentiator?
So I don't wanna go into too detailed discussions around that. We can leave that for an offline session with anyone who is interested to learn more. I will just mention maybe a couple of items here on this slide. The one that I already mentioned is super important, and that's the core aspect of the CGA approach, and that is continuous control monitoring. Again, easier said than done. In order to provide continuous monitoring, you need to have the ability to continuously read relevant data, analyze it, do that in near real-time manner, and still provide what you see in the item just below it, an easy to use interface that is intuitive to the user and truly streamlines the day-to-day tasks, because these GRC teams out there, they know exactly what they need to do. We are not telling them anything new. We're not trying to teach them how to run their GRC processes initiatives. All we are trying to achieve is to make their lives way, way easier.
Amazing. Thank you. I'm just going to bring something up quickly. I'm hoping after this chat with Arik, I'm going to manage to get Yahav to actually demonstrate Cypago's platform for us. But before we do that, for anyone that's watching this who would be interested in getting a demo from the platform, there is a link here that you can scan, get a QR code. It will take you straight through to a page where you can book on a demo. Equally, if you are QR code averse, there is a link to that in the description, so please do make use of it. Thank you, Arik. Anything else to add before I strong arm Yahav, which is going to be difficult because his guns are much bigger than mine, into giving us a demo of the platform?
Yeah, I encourage you to try and do that.
What, arm wrestle Yahav? It's not going to happen, is it? No.
Yeah.
Thanks, Arik.
Sure.
Let's take this one off the screen. Yahav, are you happy to give us a quick demo of the platform and show us how your approach to cyber GRC automation works?
Sure.
Thank you.
So let me just share my screen also.
You can see the surprise on his face.
I can, yeah. There we go, I got it.
All right.
Smashing, got it.
Great. So, like Arik said, we were very happy to be here. The first part was a blast for us. We're happy to be here on part 2. And continuing what Arik just mentioned, I would like to first a little bit to explain our approach. So I would say that our automated approach kind of amalgamates the core facets of cyber GRC. And we talked about the fact that we have different components to cyber GRC. So first, we have policies, we have frameworks, we have controls, we have risks, we have findings, and we actually take all of those together into one unified platform. And like Arik mentioned, the automation is the key part here. And this really marks, I would say, the transformation from point-in-time view and manual labor, like we discussed, to continuous visibility and enforcement across your security program, your security controls. And armed with this technology, we can actually do it, and it becomes pretty much easy for the user to identify gaps instantly, as we can see it here in this list. Um, so you can see exactly your security posture and the status of your security controls, I would say.
And I think I asked you this on the last show, but I take it you do a lot of hand holding with the onboarding part of this when you get new clients on with regards to getting it all set up. How does that bit work before I ask you the next question I've got? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So onboarding is quite fast and easy. Of course, it depends on your environment. So if you have a SaaS cloud on premises, but it's very easy. And actually, I can show it to you if you already asked. So actually, automation starts with data collection. We talked about it. And data collection starts with integrations. So what we've done here in Cypago is to provide you with very easy connectors and integrations into your specific tools. So we're talking about on-premise systems. You can see here Active Directory, cloud providers like AWS, etc., SaaS application, everything you have in your environments. And again, Arik mentioned that it can be like big enterprise with different business units, with acquisition, different tools, different processes. So Cypago actually makes it very, very easy to connect your tools across the different environment. And I think that this is what really creates, we call it a unique, comprehensive, panoramic visibility into all your environments and tools. And again, the onboarding is very easy. It takes minimal time to do it. And Simon, maybe next time we can do a live session connecting some of your integrations. What do you say?
I think that would be amazing. I asked the onboarding question. I know I've gone off track a little bit, but it's something that everyone always asks when adopting new technology. How much time is this going to take? How much of our resources is it going to take up? So thank you for asking that, answering that. Another question that I know people are going to be interested in is how can you utilize this automation to continuously monitor security controls and therefore, as Arik was saying earlier, reduce those manual efforts?
Okay, so that's a very good question because I liked also your previous one, um, Simon, about controls that are not specifically related to cybersecurity because we're talking GRC.
Yeah.
And continuous control monitoring is something that you can essentially have even for finance, right? To make sure that you don't have just a point in time, but something that is really strong and continuous. So actually in Cypago, and we know that enterprises, they adopt cybersecurity frameworks to effectively manage their cybersecurity program. So what they actually do is they're choosing specific frameworks. There, it can be specific frameworks that are already known. It can be actually specific frameworks that they create their own customized security framework within Cypago, as you can see here.
Yeah.
By the way, as you can see, we actually
Acme.
chose
Yeah.
a very
Beep beep.
original name here. I have some people there. If you want me, I can connect with you.
Please, that'd be
But
good.
anyways, that's the idea that they manage their cybersecurity. They have like many efforts going on, and they do it by adopting cybersecurity framework or creating their own custom security framework, and they can do it inside Pago with those Gen AI and NLP capabilities. And one, I would say, very popular framework is the NIST cybersecurity framework
Yeah.
or NIST in short. And it can really be a good choice for enterprises looking to mature and manage their cybersecurity. And here comes the continuous control monitoring that Cypago provides. So in NIST specifically, you can very easily see, and it's the same for any other framework that we have in here in Cypago, you can very easily see the different controls within the frameworks, and you can first govern and those controls. For example, you can assign roles and responsibilities. So Arik, you were chosen to be responsible about this control. Simon, sorry we don't have you here, but maybe next time
Next time on the
we'll
beach.
do it before the show. But the idea here is that you have full flexibility to define the cadence of the controls, to actually define and roles, responsibilities, to edit the control itself, to do everything you would like here. And this is true for any control here in ECSF and any other framework. And also, we talked about NLP and Gen AI. So luckily, in the GRC space, text is, I wouldn't say king, but it's a very significant, I would say, component, because we talked about the policies and the procedures and processes. So Cypago provides out-of-the-box control mapping across the different environments, the different frameworks and controls, and it by itself drives efficiency, because you can see immediately what's your posture and what's the status of your security controls across different frameworks and controls. And in one just click, just let me show you that, you can see very easily your gaps. Okay, so we can see that we have many controls that are currently in gap state, and we want.
Can we click into that and find out more information about the gaps and the findings as well?
Sure, we can, and we can also let me even show you how to do it. Just a second. So we have here, as part of the controls, we have many types of controls, and every security program is should include different domains and controls. So, for example, if we want to search for access permissions, okay, so we can see this control here, and it's very easy to see the control, how the controls breaks down in a simple way, in a clear way, to different sub requirements here. And we can see the status. So for example, for the this specific control that talks about management of access permissions and authorizations, we can see that there are different requirements that can be, of course, by customized. MFA enforcement for remote connecting to a remote server, MFA on cloud, SaaS, access request tickets for provisioning and deprovisioning, and also strong password policy. Arik mentioned it, so I'll just show you one specific example here. So let's say we want to to monitor our controls, and specifically this access permission control. So what we can see here very easily in Cypago is that you get in-context insights of your security controls, and we can see very easily, if we want to see the details themselves and to see the actionable insights themselves, we can just click here, view the analysis itself. So in this specific example, you can see that Cypago automatically collected different accounts from different tools: on-premise Active Directory, Okta, Terraform, GitHub, Azure AD, you name it, and in a very simple way presents or displays exactly the problem, to pinpoint exactly the problem in your password policy. And this is, again, thanks to the data collection, but also to our correlation engines and analysis engines that can identify exactly what's the problem within your security controls. And one maybe very interesting part for the enterprises out there. So you can even customize the control data and logic, and actually the control data collection, and also the analysis logic, and customize and build your own security controls. So very quickly, I can show you here that you can essentially customize the different conditions or your password policy that you want to make sure that you're compliant with. And this is just one example, but the idea is that you have limitless flexibility in defining the logic of your security controls. And once you save the changes here and build your own security controls and logic, you can just let Cypago continuously monitor your security controls. And this is another unique thing that capability that Cypago provides, because with this flexibility, you can get really extensive automation that fits your organization in a very tight manner.
Thank you very much. It's very good. Now we've seen drilling down to specific requirements and the data. I suppose the important bit, or one of the important bits, is how can organizations enforce the security controls across the organization?
Sure. Another good question, Simon, I must say. So,
full
You're
of
on a
them
roll.
today. Thank you. Yeah.
so we talked about the monitoring, which is super important. So with powerful data collection and analysis and monitoring, you can have, like we say, in context insights and data that is automatically pulled and displayed here. Um, but this is just one part of the story, very important one, maybe the main one. But now you want to make sure that those actionable insights are really easy to follow up and to remediate and to be remediated. So let me maybe show it through another very interesting example. So we talked about security programs. We have different types of controls, access controls, related controls, and also, for example, data protection. So let me just show you another one here, data protection. So this is just another example of a control. You can see the different requirements from disk level encryption and partition level encryption, encryption key configuration, database encryption. So just let's pick something that is that has a gap. And now what you can see here is that with this insightful, I would say, conclusion that Cypago provides, you can actually take it one step further and let Cypago's AI assistant to streamline the gap remediation process itself with special pre-crafted prompts that you can see here. So for example, if we would like to make sure how to show or remediate database configuration in GCP, you have the Cypago assistant to actually guide you through the remediation process and provide you with the right directions and tool. And this is just one example of what we can do with AI, but it doesn't stop there. So the remediation, we actually take you hand by hand through the remediation process. But also, as we spoke, enterprise, they have different stakeholders. So we want to make sure that the remediation process is easy, is clear, and you can utilize your own tools. So what you can do is actually from within Cypago, create a ticket in your different ticketing system. So for example, here, let me just create a task and create those DBs. I'm just creating a new task here.
Just don't assign it to me, please.
You've
No,
got enough. You've got enough, Arik, by the look of it.
Yeah.
this one maybe is on me, but no.
It will be a long night for me.
So the idea is that you have here two-way sync with your lab tools to streamline the remediation with the instructions Cypago provides you. And once you remediate and the tickets change in your tools, it is reflected back in Cypago. So you close the cycle, and this is how you streamline and enforce those security controls according to the identified gaps that Cypago provides.
Amazing. Thank you very much. I think the last question I'm going to ask is, how can we use that automation as a tool for business-driven cyber risk management and monitoring? We hear more and more about strategic security. How does it fit in there?
Sure. So actually, the whole risk management life cycle can be automated. Yeah, it's hard to believe, but from identification through assessment, and let me just pick one specific risk here. mine, as you can see here. So here we have the ability to actually manage our risk in a centralized way and automated way. So you can see the business process, the different fields here. So from identifying the risk to assessing the risk, evaluating the risk, building a treatment plan and mitigation plans, and monitoring the risk. And you can even, and we talked about the different facets of cybersecurity and the way we fuse them all together in one platform. So what you can do is actually link the specific controls. So this specific risk is about user compromise, user account compromise. You could just actually select specific controls that you like in order to mitigate the risk within the Cypago platform. You just link this to the risk itself, and immediately you get this very fundamental connection between the risk, the control, including the status itself, and the findings of the controls. So this is how we can actually take all of those pieces together and provide you with one tool to automate and monitor your business risks and to have continuous control monitoring of your security program.
If I may
Amazing.
just quickly chime in, just imagine the different, or I mean, it's easily to imagine the difference between a spreadsheet that people are still used to manage their risks using, and this kind of a tool that brings everything to life. Now everything is dynamic, is gets updated on an ongoing basis, and you get a true understanding of what are the outstanding risks.
It's amazing. I am blown away by it. And I know I keep going on about my previous roles, but this would have saved me weeks and weeks and weeks of work. So I can only imagine what it means for cyber leaders and business leaders as well. We've got about 5 minutes left, and I've seen that we've had some questions in. Are you okay if I take the demo off for now? Oh, look at that, as if by magic. Yeah, brilliant. And we just
Continuous.
cover off a couple of those questions, if that's okay. The first one, I love this one. What's the immediate benefit a GRC, SME professional or exec can realize early in the journey of adopting a platform like Cypago? I think you might have given about 10 reasons throughout this, but is there one that stands out?
Let me take it, and yeah, we can add your angle on that. First is time, and time, as we all know, is money, but it's a lot more than that. Time allows you to become proactive and not just be reactive to everything that is going on and to try to hit your schedule, but you will actually gain the ability to plan ahead and to make sure that you're not just reaching your goals, but you're taking on new initiatives while not working late. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of it.
Dare I add one in? So for those virtual GRC professionals who look after more than one firm, I would say this is a massive way for you to increase your revenue. But
Exactly.
that's because I've been in sales
Scale
for
out.
30 years, and that's how I think. Right? but it clearly would. It would free up time. Yeah, have you got anything to add to that?
I have too much. So I'm not
Too
sure we
much.
have
I'm sure we have got enough time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that again, you saw the platform. This is just a glimpse, but the idea is that like in very quick, onboarding, you actually get continuous view into your problems. So first, in terms of risk and security, and this is the idea here, right? You can see exactly the reasons why you have to actually take actions and what exactly you have to do. And actually, again, I'm taking it back to the different components or facets of the cybersecurity GRC. So you don't have a way to do it manually to actually get the risk, the framework, the policy, the control, to understand how they actually related to each other, and to make sure that they're all working together to actually provide the best of your security program and compliance and risk. So I think that after just one scan of the platform, you can see the whole picture of your, again, your security program and GRC program. And I invite you all, of course, to do it. But it's a very easy process. You just on board, click on scan, and you get all the data, all the colors that we've seen here, that they have meaning, of course. So you can just, like, in 1 or 2 days after starting to use the platform, you can already start remediation and monitoring, and it saves lots of time, and you get this on an ongoing basis again. So
and
it's ready.
and the sun immediately shines. So that's
It does. Well,
evidence.
as Roland's just said in the chat, time is dollars, time is money, right? And it
Yeah,
absolutely is. Can I ask my own tongue-in-cheek question? Because I like to
go
try and
for it.
add a bit of humor in. I'll bring this one up. Here we go. If Santa had to do cyber GRC, how would he go about it, and what would he include in his scope?
Wow.
Who wants that one?
I
We
will
can we can blame Rob for that question, by the way, just so you don't blame me.
I would think first about the protection of, all of his tools. He has, like, his deers, right? He has different things that he's using. Also the bird, by the way, he has to make
It's
sure
very,
that he
very
has the
true.
right processes. But yeah, the idea
It's
is,
cyber deer RC.
yes.
Yeah.
And if we try, and we know that it's hard to be serious on this, but with every technology or everything in life, we have risks and vulnerabilities. This is how attackers actually think, and in order to make sure that to protect your assets from threat actors, etc., you want to make sure that to think like an attacker. So specifically, even with those, like, if you ask me, I actually already have this analysis in mind of everything that Santa does, how it looks like, what he uses, and I already think of some flaws that can be, or some things that we can do in order to alter Santa's behavior. But maybe this is on the next Christmas. You know, uh, what do you say? The podcast.
I think it's just Prashant's joke there. All the processes would
A
end
good
up on the
one.
elf. I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty good. Yeah, thanks,
But
Prashant.
just to not to wrap up without the practical aspect of answering this question. So when you want to embrace cyber GRC, I think the best first move is to find the relevant framework that you can
Yeah,
adopt and implement. And you have just provided an example with NIST CSF. This is one of the most popular fundamental or foundational frameworks that you can adopt. Once you do that, and once again you're using the right tools to help you with that, this will immediately allow you or will enable you with the understanding of what cyber GRC is, and now you can take it as many steps forward as you like, and to add additional layers of both security and governance.
amazing. Thank you so much. We're pretty much out of time. So before I hand back to you two for some closing remarks, I just want to say a couple of things. I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to come on and share this with us today. It looks like from the audience engagement that people have found it really insightful. I know that I have. And for anyone who has found it insightful, if you do want to grab a demo, links there. If you're brave enough to scan that QR code, that will take you straight through to a booking page. If you're not brave enough to scan that QR code, a link to book a demo is in the description below, and I would encourage you all to go ahead and do that. Yahav and Arik, closing remarks from you before we wrap things up, please.
Just want to say thank you for the time, for the questions, for the hospitality, for the company, and for the opportunity to discuss what we like to do most. As we mentioned, we wake up in the morning with the need to help and to assist and to bring the cutting edge technology and make it available to everyone's use. So thank you again.
Thank you. Yahav, any famous last words?
Without mentioning Santa this time.
Without mentioning Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that like, I join everything that Arik said. We're very excited. We're doing it for already a couple of years, and we see how we can actually transform the way organization manage their controls and their GRC. And again, back to one of the previous questions, it's quite immediate. That's the idea. So you just like align yourself with the tool, and then from them on, you're on a highway to monitoring your GRC. So thank you for the opportunity to be here again. Maybe we'll have another like the third part of this
I think we
trio.
should. I
Who
think we
knows?
should, but I think I need to come and do that near the beach. I think we'll have to discuss that offline later. But no, definitely. And I'd just like to
Thank you.
say, while we've been talking, Restream's quite clever. So it brings up a little thing at the top that tells you whenever anyone scanned the QR code. And we've had 9 people scan that QR code in the last 3 minutes. So for everyone who scanned it,
Oh.
thank you so much. I do hope you found this useful, everyone. I'm now going to go downstairs and have my dinner because it's that time of day here. So I'll wish you all a very nice rest of the day or evening, depending on where you are. For anyone who's in Austin, don't forget, we've got a open mic discussion networking event in Austin, Texas, this Thursday, January the 25th. So if anyone would like to attend, we have got, I think, 3 tickets left for that. Reach out to me through LinkedIn or the community. But Yahav and Arik, thank you so much for your time. And I look forward very much to part 3. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.